All right, let's just jump right in. You know that feeling, right? The pressure of modern work. You've got way too many tabs open, a never-ending task list, just this constant weight. It feels like we're all just juggling documents, emails, and projects all at the same time.
But that gets you thinking. What if the next huge leap for AI isn't just a smarter chatbot that gives you better answers? What if it's a model that can actually do the work? You know, one that can operate across all those messy tasks and actually be reliable?
And that's exactly the promise behind this, the MiniMax M2.7 model. This is not just another update. MiniMax is building this whole release around a really powerful, kind of mind-bending idea, a model that actually helps in its own evolution. So let's break down what that really means and why it's turning heads. To really get M2.7, you have to see it as their answer to that modern work crisis we were just talking about. They're positioning this thing as a whole new kind of AI partner, one that's designed from the ground up to handle the messy, multi-step chaos of real professional work.
It's built to go after three really tough domains. First, advanced software engineering. We're talking way beyond just spitting out code snippets. Second, complex agent workflows, where it has to use tools and memory to get a job done. And third, something we can all appreciate, high-fidelity office editing. You know, reliably wrangling the Word docs and Excel sheets that run our lives.
Okay, now for the most fascinating claim about M27, this idea that it can evolve. They're talking about a self-evolution loop. In this scenario, the model isn't just the tool, it's part of the team that's making the tool better.
And look, they're not being subtle about it. This quote from their announcement is a pretty bold statement. Our first model deeply participating in its own evolution. That signals a huge shift in how they're thinking about what an AI can even do. So how on earth does that actually work? Well, the key to all this is a concept called the agent harness. The best way to think about it is the model isn't just a brain in a jar. The harness is everything around it. The tools it can pick up, the memory it can use, the skills it can learn. It's the whole workshop, not just the person working in it. And MiniMax didn't just theorize about this. They actually did it. They set up this autonomous loop where M2.7 was used to improve its own training process. The model would literally analyze why a task failed, figure out what to change, modify the code around it, run new tests, and then decide if the change was actually an improvement. The AI was helping to redesign the system that would train its own successor. Pretty wild.
And this wasn't just some academic exercise. They saw a real result. A 30% performance boost on their internal tests after more than 100 of these autonomous rounds. That's a pretty powerful proof of concept for a model that doesn't just do a task, but makes the whole system better.
So that all sounds great, but how does this self-evolution idea actually translate into performance in the real world? I mean, a cool story is one thing, but can the model actually deliver the goods? MiniMax is betting that it absolutely can, especially in the tough worlds of coding and office work. And yeah, the benchmark scores are pretty solid. Now, it's important to note, these aren't just simple little coding puzzles. SWE Pro and Vibe Pro are about realistic, start-to-finish software projects. And Terminal Bench 2, that tests a deep understanding of complex systems. Scores like these put M2.7 squarely in the ring as a serious tool for pro developers. This really hammers home MiniMax's main goal here. Build a model that can handle the sheer complexity of a real project. It's designed for huge code bases, long-running tasks, and messy tool chains, not just solving little problems in a clean, perfect environment. But hey, performance isn't just about code. A huge focus for M2.7 is office work. They're reporting an ELA score of 1495 on this specific benchmark for professional office tasks. Now, they claim that's the highest out there for models you can actually access via an API. So, why does that matter? It matters because it translates directly to these upgrades. We've all been there, right? You ask an AI to edit a PowerPoint slide, and it just messes up all the formatting. Or it completely misunderstands a simple revision in a spreadsheet. MiniMax is basically claiming M2.7 is way better at that kind of high-stakes, multi-step editing. The boring but incredibly important work that makes the world go round. So how does M2.7 stack up against its predecessor, M2.5, which, by the way, was only released a month before? It's really important to see this as a very focused evolution, not them starting over from scratch. I think this metaphor they used just nails it. M2.5 was pitched as a very good employee, fast, efficient, gets the job done. M2.7 is being pitched as something more, an employee that's so good it can actually help you improve the entire workflow for everybody. It's a shift from just doing the work to improving the work.
And what's really telling is what they didn't focus on. The upgrade wasn't about a bigger context window or cheaper prices. All those core stats are exactly the same. The improvement was about quality. It was about making the model better at harder work, not just making it bigger or cheaper.
In a market where it feels like a new model drops every single week, M2.7 really managed to cut through all that noise. So let's just pull it all together and ask, why did this specific release get so much attention from the tech world?
It really boils down to three things. The benchmarks for coding and office work were good enough to make people sit up and take notice. The price-to-performance ratio is still super competitive, and honestly, that self-evolving story was just too interesting to ignore. It really feels like a peek into the future of agentic AI.
And this quote just captures it perfectly. The whole conversation around AI is shifting. It's moving beyond just who has the biggest brain or who can write the best poem. The new race is about practical, reliable performance on the messy, valuable tasks that people actually get paid to do.
So if there's one thing to take away from MiniMax M2.7, it's this fundamental shift in what we should even expect from an AI. The real upgrade here isn't just a smarter model. It's a model that points to a future where AI is less about just answering our questions and a whole lot more about operating right alongside us to get the job done.